Hi everybody, welcome back to the Joy of Trucking. I'm Kevin. I'm a solo driver for Werner Enterprises. I got a interesting story of my past week. A lot of crazy places, a lot of strange adventures, and some new things I learned. So I got a story to tell you. Hit that subscribe button, sit back, and let's get at her. So on the Tuesday, this week kind of starts out on a Tuesday. Just got a truck issued to me. Nice Peterbilt, really good shape, and getting to know it. My first run out of the terminal in Pennsylvania took me to a place called Ridgewood, New York. I had a load of beer from Golden, Colorado. Usually I haul those down to Phoenix or something like that, but this time I come all the way across the country and was going to a little town in, well, basically Queens, New York, in New York City, on a Tuesday morning in rush hour with all the crazy traffic. It was only 140 miles. It took me like 4 hours plus to get in there, and the last 30 miles was half of that time. It was just stop and go. I went over the George Washington Bridge, across Manhattan, and then into Queens, and kind of looped back in from the east side. Stop and go traffic, crazy turns, tight corners, exits, traffic jams, construction, people cutting me off, people honking their horns. Had to get past a couple of accidents on the way. Pull into this place, had a little narrow alley behind some grocery store to get in there. The security guard had me pull in off the street and just park in the alley so that other vehicles could get out that way. And at one point he said, "Oh, you just need to back out of here and go park on the street." I'm like, I'm not backing this thing onto that street. There's traffic coming up and down here. It's 2 narrow lanes. There's cars parked all over the place. And you're going to have me park in a place over here that says no parking? No. Then how do I get back in here? I'd have to drive 5 miles around town to get back in. No. And then once I got in there, there's construction going on all through the place. So down this narrow lane, had to do a 90 to get inside the building up to the loading dock. And then there was very little room to get out of there. And just as I was attempting it, another truck came in, another guy pulled out from another dock. We all got tangled up and blocked each other in, and everybody was making crazy moves, and finally got out of there and then departed on the Verrazano Bridge. So I went through Queens, through Brooklyn, and then over the bridge onto Staten Island, and then back to I-95. Woo! And I got out of there before the rush hour started in the afternoon. I was gone by 2 o'clock, so managed to get out of there without too much hassle after that. And I was headed south to pick up a load. And about an hour into the trip, I get a bunch of messages. That load's been taken away. Here's your next load. I had to change directions and head north back into Pennsylvania. That night I found a place, well, first of all, I'm picking up at a Starbucks warehouse. So I'm hauling like 40,000 pounds of, I don't know what, coffee beans or paper cups, who knows. But it's the first time I picked up a big Starbucks load like that. I was in Pennsylvania, close to York, Pennsylvania. Found this place on Trucker Path. A little symbol says, you know, trucks can park here, and there's a restaurant. So I pulled in, and they've set up this parking lot with all kinds of room, special entrance for the trucks. There's a pizza joint and then a diner next to it. The pizza joint was closed, and a sign on the door said, if you're going to pay for your parking, do it next door at the diner. So this is one of these places where the owners have gone to a lot of trouble to set this up so trucks can park there, but it's in order for them to charge you something, you know? Not quite like going to a Love's or something where it's free, but they expect you to spend some money. So I go in the restaurant, and I looked up the menu first on Google just to see what they had, and yes, they had liver. So I went in the door and I said, "What's the deal with the parking?" So they pull out this piece of paper. It says, "Well, how long are you going to stay?" I said, "Just overnight, like 10 hours. She said, "Well, if you're going to stay 12 hours, you need to spend $18 here, and then you don't have to pay for your parking. If you want to stay like 24 hours, then it's got to be like $30 you spend," or something like that. So it's all based on how long you're going to stay and how much you spend in the restaurant. I said, "Great, I'm going to have the liver and onions." So I sat down in a booth, and they brought me the menu, and I ordered the liver. And as I came in the door, I noticed a whole lot of fantastic desserts. So the liver was only like $11, under $11. So the prices were good for all the meals, and they had wide selection, you know, steaks and fish and salads and pastas and all kinds of stuff. And then all the cakes and stuff looked fantastic too. So I had the liver, I had a piece of cake with a little bit of ice cream, and lo and behold, it came to just over $18. So I had a great meal, I had a good time, and I had a place to stay that night, and it all worked out good. And thank you, Trucker Path. Next morning, I'm off to Columbus, Ohio, taking this load of Starbucks to the drop yard there because the load was split. Somebody else was going to take it the rest of the way to, I don't know where, somewhere out west. So I got all the way across Pennsylvania into Ohio, dropped off the load at the drop yard, and then just around the corner, like a couple of blocks, is a Walmart distribution center. My next load I picked up there, and it was headed down to Lebanon, Tennessee, to our drop yard there, because that load got split too. So I was headed down through Cincinnati, got to the other side of Cincinnati into Kentucky, spent the night there. I believe I was at a rest stop, had a very nice, peaceful night there. And then the next morning, Thursday, made it to Lebanon, Tennessee, dropped the load, waited a little while, and my next load was going from the same drop yard over to Chester, Virginia, which is just south of Richmond. Again, this is a load that had been split several times, so I was picking it up and doing my part. Made it into Virginia that night, and stayed at another nice rest stop. They were doing work on the place, so you couldn't actually go in and use the bathrooms. They just had outhouses, but it was a real nice area. As you're coming through the Smoky Mountains, there's scenic lookouts and stuff, and you come down this long hill, riding the Jake brake, and there's this rest stop right there. Very nice. So the next day, Friday morning, into Richmond, just ahead of rush hour traffic, real close. Made it through the city, down to Chester, dropped off there, and my next load I was picking up at a Domtar paper mill in Plymouth, North Carolina. So down from Richmond to Rocky Mount on I-95, and then across 64 there, all the way to the town of Plymouth. Real nice ride. I did it many times last summer, going to visit friends in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. That was a really big place, that Domtar mill, though. It was confusing. Signs could have been a little bit better. I missed the place where I was supposed to go, and somebody led me back, and a live load again. Got all loaded up, had to back the truck inside a building again to the loading dock. Getting good at that. And in the bright sunlight, you can't even see what's inside the building there. You got to get out and look every 2 seconds to figure out where you are. Got that load, rolls of paper, and they were going to Beach Island, South Carolina, to a Kimberly-Clark place, so that's something to do with their paper products. Made it down I-95 quite a ways. And the next morning, Saturday, dropped off in Beach Island, South Carolina, which is very close to Augusta, Georgia. Yeah, the highway actually, the route I took, I zipped into Georgia and right back out again a mile later, and made it to Beach Island. Dropped off there, and then on to Walmart Distribution Center, Statesboro, Georgia. Picked up there, back up I-95 and through South Carolina, back into North Carolina, and dropped off at another Walmart Distribution Center, and then head down to Bennettsville, South Carolina, to another Domtar plant in a place called Marlboro. Now, I didn't get all the way there. I got down 95 and then went over on 74 and spent the night there at a mom and pop gas station. It was very nice. It was very clean. The place looked brand new. Very quiet night. Lots of room, lots of parking. Real glad Trucker Path showed me that one too. Some of those mom and pop places are pretty sweet. So the next morning, down to Bennettsville, South Carolina, Domtar plant. Really, really big place again. Another live load, backed up to a dock, and they loaded up these huge rolls of paper. They're actually lottery ticket paper. And that load was going up to Appleton, Wisconsin. But, once again, it got split. So, Sunday morning, I show up. After the live load Sunday morning, I take it on up to Charlotte, North Carolina, the west side. There's a drop yard in Gastonia, North Carolina, west of Charlotte, and I've been to 2 drop yards on the east side of Charlotte, down Sugar Creek Road there. And the first time was back in May, and then later in the year they closed that one and moved it over the other side of Sugar Creek Road. So this one in Gastonia, I don't know how long it's been there, but I haven't been there before. So that was something new. That was interesting. And I got there Sunday morning before 11 o'clock, so made it on time. The next split driver had nothing to worry about. It took 2 hours before they assigned me another load. Now I'm down to like 3 hours on my clock. They give me a load going just 60 miles. I thought I can make this. And then I get a message saying, oh, we're going to take that load away from you because they're actually closed on Sundays. And you would go there and then have to sit there until Monday and then deliver it. When that would pretty much waste the whole day and the whole night, and then you'd make the delivery and then start your reset. So you should just start your reset now. So I said, that's a great idea. So I drove down back into South Carolina, only 15 miles from Gastonia, and I'm in Blacksburg, South Carolina at a Love's. This Love's is cool because in addition to the the fuel lanes and the store and the gas line for the cars, then they got the service shop, and they got a big area for trucks to park. Across the street, they've opened up another lot, paved with lines and street lights and everything else, so trucks have additional parking on this side of the street, and that's really nice, except for these railroad tracks right in front of me. But the train only comes by every 2 or 3 hours. It's not too bad. It wasn't keeping me up all night. But this is where I've done my reset. I've had time to catch up on the paperwork and get ready for the coming week. Do some laundry, clean myself up a little bit, eat some good food, got some exercise, and made a video. So that's been my week. I'll be starting out again tomorrow morning on the next week. So hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, put your comments below, and I'll see you down the road. Bye for now.